Bronx Journal. I'm your guest host, Myra Scamella. Wave Hill is a 28-acre public garden and culture center in the Bronx, and also one of the most beautiful spots in New York City. Its mission is to celebrate the artistry and legacy of its gardens and landscapes, to preserve its magnificent views, and to explore the human connection to the natural world through programs in horticultural, education, and the arts. Joining us today to talk more about Wave Hill is Nature and Arts Program Manager, Gisela Insuaste. Gisela, thank you for coming to the show.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. So tell us a little bit more about Wave Hill.
Well, Wave Hill, and I've only been working there since August. It's a really, I feel like I'm discovering the space every time I go there. But it used to be a private estate, and then it became, back in like, I guess the early 60s, it was donated to the City of New York. So the City of New York owns the grounds and its gardens. But it's a, as I said earlier, it's a jewel of the Bronx, I think. And people come from all over, but we do have a lot of audience that comes from the Riverdale area. And you know, part of our mission is to be able to reach out to as many people as possible. So, you know, part of what I want to do now that I've started there is to bring in more people from the Bronx to Wave Hill, and for people to discover its different niches. It has, I try to go around maybe once or twice a week just to walk through the gardens and sort of get a sense of that space and how it changes over the seasons. And that's what I've been fascinating, is things happen differently throughout the year, and you can see everything: spring, summer, winter, fall, all these changes happening. And I don't know, I'm so glad to be part of that too. It affects you, I think, emotionally too. So I'm glad that I get a chance and opportunity to go there for work and also then enjoy it outside with other people.
Oh, okay. So can you tell us the difference between Wave Hill being, what is it, a more of a public garden than a public park? What's the difference?
Well, it's a public garden and it's a cultural center, and we try to preserve or maintain the gardens, and there are different gardens. There's like an aquatic garden, there's a the conservatory, there's the wildlife, or sorry, the wild garden, and there's an exhibition we're having in the spring about the wild garden. But there's also the wildflower garden, there's the woodlands area. So we want to maintain it. It's a space where people can come and enjoy themselves, and it's a meditative space too, and you can come and enjoy the spring bloom. You can take workshops there, but it's not for people to play. It's not a playground, and that's sometimes when parents come in with their children, you know, they're not allowed to play on the grounds, but there are activities for children that we offer. And a park, there are different things you can do in a park that you can't do in a public garden. You know, in a park,
is it something similar to the botanical garden?
The botanical garden, it's a larger space, and they do similar programs, but not that much. We have a unique space. You know, we offer unique programming, and we're not a research-based institution, and we bring. Our views also are very different. We're right along the Hudson. You can see the Palisades across the river, and given the unique location, we're able to offer certain, you know, some more interesting programming, and you meet other different people coming through. We also have more diversity, I think, with programming, like with art classes and workshops. We have a gallery space that really adds on to that connection that we make with nature, and the botanical garden doesn't have that.
So then what kind of programs does Wave Hill offer?
Well, I work in public programs, but a lot of us, we collaborate. There's the education department, there's the visual arts department, there's a whole horticulture department, and they're gardeners that take care of the gardens. They're gardeners for every garden. So with education, we reach out to students, to schools. We also reach out to families through the family art project that happens over the weekends. And then through our visual arts programming, we have exhibitions throughout the year. We currently have, the galleries are closed this winter, so we have a winter workspace. We have a residency for artists to come through for 6 weeks. There are 2 sessions, and part of my job is to develop and coordinate public programs, so making the connection between the public with what we offer, both through nature programs, through the garden walks that we have. We have cooking demonstrations.
Cooking demonstrations?
We do, but they're, you know,
like culinary, or what exactly cooking?
By cooking, it's also like, you know, healthy healthy habits. But we have some, I mean, we have squash on our grounds. We have an herb garden. So we sort
like
of,
a vegetable garden.
yeah, and then we try to always connect our programs to what's existing outside. I mean, I used to work at a museum where permanent collections and galleries. For us, the permanent collection is the ever-changing landscape. So we always want to make sure we tie into what we do. So that's why on any of our programs, be it educational, public programs, the arts, there's some kind of connection to nature. And as an artist myself, I found myself being drawn to it and understanding it at a deeper level. Part of our job is to make people understand that and want to come back.
So as opposed to being a manager of the arts and the nature and arts program at Wave Hill, you're also an artist.
Yeah.
So what has been your latest project?
I have a big site-specific project right now at Lehman, the art gallery. It's part of El Museo's S-Files, the biennial. So that piece, and that's where I met you actually for the opening, it was in response to the structure, and it's a Marcel Breuer structure. I did a little bit of research about it. You know, it was converted into the Fine Arts Building in the 80s, and they sort of compromised his vision for it. But I was interested in that and how we sort of build up and interpret our spaces. And the piece is called the Inverted Umbrella Landscape. Yeah, Marcel Breuer Sunshine, Goose Style. Goose is my nickname. So, sort of my interpretation of this space. And by the Inverted Umbrella, technically it's called hyperbolic paraboloid. So it's the structure that opens up like an inverted umbrella. An idea of inverting the landscape.
It looks like a big inflated, what is it, balloon?
Yeah, like a air balloon, right?
Air
and
balloon.
it's very festive, but I'm looking, you know, I was definitely influenced by my surrounding landscape and the constant movement from one place to the other. So bringing the outside indoors.
So
And
how did you get involved in the Lehman Art Gallery?
And I, as part of the S-Files, El Museo's S-Files, the biennial, and I applied, you know, submitted my proposal. I think this year they have about 70 plus artists, and they collaborated with different cultural institutions throughout the city. So Lehman was one of their partners, as well as like other institutions through Manhattan. So I mean, I applied for it, but my work in general has always dealt with architecture, with memory, with the landscape, and it's interesting, you know, when you asked me to come on here, because I started thinking when I was building this space, this structure, I also was going to Wave Hill, and I hadn't worked at Wave Hill yet, but it's like the perfect place because it influences a lot of my thinking about nature and how we connect to those spaces. So I feel like as an artist and as arts administrator, I can provide a deeper insight, perhaps, to how we experience our local environment. But that's the largest, latest project, and I recently did a project out in the Carriage House in Long Island. Oh, okay. But you know, dealing with structures.
Is it hard finding a job as an artist?
I think, well, I would have to say that I went to grad school for art, but a lot of my training as an arts administrator has been through just working, hands-on experience. And I think as an artist, we are good at interpreting our world in so many ways, and are adaptable and can do a range of different have a range of different skills. So I think it's where we feel most comfortable, and that's what I felt important in all my jobs. And I've worked in nonprofit jobs for many years, and mostly in education and in public programs, is to be able to feel comfortable where I work. And I have fun where I'm working, and I feel I'm having an impact. So I think, you know, it's not a very lucrative. The arts in general aren't very lucrative, but there's an impact that I think that I like to be part of. I like to have that impact, and it's inspiring, you know. And I want to be inspired in my job place. I want to work with people that are also working hard and wanting to, you know, better the world in some way. And you do that through the arts, and you do that through the programming at the different institutions. So it's hard as an artist, it's hard as an arts administrator in general now, but I think we have to be creative on how we interact with the economy at this point. So it's I'm always trying to support my fellow artists, you know, in other opportunities and wherever I work too.
And you're also a member of the Elizabeth Foundation?
I did a residency. I'm an alumni of there's this new residency program that they did about 2 years
tell
ago.
us exactly, what is the Elizabeth Foundation?
The Elizabeth Foundation for the Arts, it's a nonprofit organization in Midtown, like near the bus station, I forgot what it's called. And it was founded, it has studios, but it also has programs, a new space called the Elizabeth EFA Project Space, and it's run by Michelle Levy. And so I'm part of the second cohort, and it invites, you have to be nominated for this residency program, but it invites artists, administrators throughout the city to do a brief residency program. So it's to provide support for artists that are involved in supporting other artists. So it's a unique experience, and we've been meeting once a month to touch base and connect to other arts administrators in the city. So I feel very fortunate to be part of that. It's been a great experience so far.
And where exactly does Wave Hill get its funding?
Well, the funding, it's city-owned, so there, it does receive NISCA funding. We do also get funding from corporations. One of our funders that I'm involved in mostly is through the Target. A lot of cultural institutions throughout the city and the Bronx, like the Bronx Museum, I think also are these Target, these weekend or family program that they fund. But also I think through some donations. I'm not directly involved with the development aspect of it. I concentrate mostly in programming and seeing what people want. And part of my job, and I'm coming up with new programs in the spring, but is getting more adults to come through, getting a larger range of diverse populations to come through. Like this weekend, we have a whole holiday weekend workshop, and we're making felted soaps, and we're making wreaths and centerpieces. And then in the winter, something I'm directly involved with are free workshops with the artists that are going to be in residence, and that's going to be pretty cool. And I think I'm hoping that we can bring more people from the Bronx to these spaces. It's free programming, and you get to enjoy winter tromping through the grounds of Wave Hill.
Sounds fascinating. So where can we get more information about Wave Hill?
Well, you could go on the website. You could always contact me too. But,
and what's the website again?
The website is www.wavehill.org. We have a calendar, so you just click on the dates you want to come.
For the programs being offered.
Yeah, and it's a great place, and I think people, if they haven't gone, I think they should go anytime.
Well, I will go because I haven't gone there.
Even if it's winter, I think it's a lovely place to go.